The Harry Styles paradox. Harry Styles' best era was his flop era, and vice versa. Harry's house had astronomical sales, and the tour sold more than any other tour. Yet, ask a fan who's been around for years, what is your favorite album? Fine Line, probably
Harry's
Fine
House.
Line. What is my favorite album? Huh? Hi, I'm To Be Honest, and today we're gonna piss a lot of people off. Ma'am, excuse me, what's your favorite album? Fair answer. According to NME, in addition of having 2022's fastest selling album in the UK, Styles managed the rare feat of having album #1 and #1... Just stop. We don't care. What does Twitter say? Big trends, many Spotify stats saying big numbers. What does TikTok say? Big tour, many funny ticks, and lots of silly talks. And what does it all mean? Pit tickets. I got scammed out of my venue tickets, so shut up. You'll have to wait for that story. We need to do some detective work first. So long story short, fans across social media and non-fans alike noticed the increase of Styles' content. Everyone knows his face since Harry's House. But why so? Why now? Well, in my opinion, it all cuts down to the way everything was planned. All the steps to this point were stacking in his favor. One Direction cementing his name in the industry, Sign of the Times 2 over the radio gathering a significant amount of multi-generational fans, meaning all of your past taxi drivers know who Harry is. That multiplied tenfold after Watermelon Sugar was burned into our brain via every audio port existing in human existence. Thus, Harry going to Coachella was a peak visibility moment, meaning that anything he would put out next would have a ton of invested and uninvested people watching him closely. Not sure if people were eager to see as it was, after being crippled by months and months of brainwashing chants of Watermelon Sugar High, or if they were just showing signs of Stockholm Syndrome, but either way, the release of As It Was broke both Twitter and a bunch of stats, which I don't know, but someone out there does know. The video, which I've broken down from an art reference standpoint, is now unlisted on my channel. And it's an obvious call to Bauhaus, which made a resurgence in popularity right about when Harry released the video and later album art. And it's funny, cause like after these came out, hipsters kind of moved on to something else and people got scared that some neo-Bauhaus trend is about to come loose. Who knows? So as I was... saying, the video was pretty groundbreaking with visuals, so it spread like wildfire, and the song had, in the words of Bastille, funky synth, so people ate it like crazy. Other than that, eesh. And I'm not saying the album was bad by any means, it was amazing. I've seen the closest thing to a contemporary rendition of Peter Gabriel and Scatman's Baby Love Child in Music for a Sushi Restaurant, and the rawest lyrics in cinema in Keep Driving. But on the other hand, other than that, I don't feel as connected to the album, if that makes any sense. Like, it's good, it's Harry, but it feels like a third-person experience, if that makes any sense. Like, with Self-Titled and Fine Line, it feels like you're either having an intimate conversation with Harry or going on an adventure together. Whilst to me, Harry's House is just a show and tell from Harry's perspective into a world where in some cases I can understand and relate, but other less so. And to be honest, everything I've learned about poppers, I've learned against my own will. Don't look it up. But I feel like this era was driven not by the album, but who Harry has become, a household name. A lot of people like Gucci, but not because they love Gucci, but because Harry wears it. A lot of people love Harry's House because Harry sings it. But why now during Harry's House and not before? Besides radio mainstreamness and Coachella performances, Harry's team did an amazing job promoting this album. From making a high-budget looking video with no budget with James Corden, giving fans the hope that they could too be part of that video like those girls, or licking photos from possible videos ages before releasing anything just to keep people theorizing, to the iconic fugly Gucci outfits that now are tied to who Harry is visually speaking. It's impossible not to make Harry a big icon with all of these. I could bleach my eyes, but those polka dots mismatch outfits would never be erased from my memory. And they had such a big budget, like literally flexing with fine art, and yet it felt shallow. I bet most people don't even get the reference. So what do you do with a big icon? You turn your opportunity of seeing or wearing anything related to said icon into FOMO, fear of missing out. And oh boy, did the fans not want to miss out. Thus, we've got those skyrocketing record-breaking sales. And you know what aids sales? Not only FOMO, but relevancy over an extended period of time. And here we insert all the scandals from getting involved with Olivia Wilde, the acting in Don't Worry Darling, the queer baiting accusations in My Policeman, the Chris Pine Gate, and the Florence is Sick debacle. Housemate coming out with the love triangle drama, the breakup, and last but not least, TikTok being flooded with a very well curated Dr. Love-esque segments on Love on Tour where Harry gives advice on dating. God, that was a lot and I didn't even go into detail with anything. Oof. But to sum it all up, Harry's house was best era in terms of notoriety and sales, but to me, and to a lot of other fans, it feels like Harry's tried to find himself and kind of lost himself more in this creative search, which is natural. Growth is part of the cycle of life and it doesn't mean you're stagnating, it means you're experimenting and that's good for your growth. But as these millennial kids would say, his best era during his personal flop era. But then how do we support the idea that Fine Line was his flop era during his personal best? Here are the arguments. First single, a lot of fans agree it wasn't the best choice. Lights Up barely scratched radios, while Watermelon Sugar was a different story. Originally, Watermelon Sugar was released as a promotional single on the 16th of November 2019, but nobody batted an eyelash. Only later, when it was re-released as the fourth single of the album on the 15th of May 2020, it went wild. And you guys, that was 6 months later and it blew up. Most albums die 4 months post-release. This was Harry's most mainstream popular release yet. They done goofed with the first release. Now about the Adore You situation, they had a good thing going on. I could go on for hours about the Eroda situation. Author note, I literally took a break, made myself noodles, and rewatched NightDoc's video on it. It makes me so happy when I watch it because it was so unhinged and he captured it perfectly. The humor, the rage, the irony, I'll just link the video, you have to watch it. The RG community got bamboozled really bad and I am and was at the time very much involved in the RG community, watching NightDocs, Nexpo Insider, everyone, but also have been a fan of Harry since 2012. It was peak internet moment for me. Eroda was a non-existent island that got promoted everywhere and a lot of people got involved and even made memes about it. And there were hundreds of people hunting for clues trying to figure out what this was. Sadly, Eroda kind of died just as fast as it started, leaving the internet frustrated that it was just a marketing campaign. And it only truly impacted the ones who were already fans of Harry's and maybe some chronically online ARG people. Peak creativeness. Underwhelming results in sales. And now if things couldn't go worse, 2020 came, right as Harry was supposed to go touring and doing the promo rounds for the album, rendering the album tourless, and promoted via Zoom calls which fell flat of great media attention. Now don't get me wrong, the album did well, but it got kicked in the balls from literally every angle. It's like somebody wanted it to flop. Because from a song standpoint, a lot of fans and myself find Harry as most in tune with himself but also his feelings during this era. It might be a devastating breakup album, but it gave some of us the most raw and authentic creative product. And it was funny to see how creatives are fiery with go-go juice after breakups, but truly Fine Line was an underrated gem lyrically speaking. It may not have been so experimental as Harry's House, but it felt like that was the closest, most authentic Harry story you could feel. From working with Tim Walker for the artworks and visuals to working with Alessandro Michele, the way he's worked with videos and performances, Falling, live at Brit Awards, was groundbreaking. And the video is so raw with both a bold visual and direction, but also aligning with the feeling of the song. And this is true to all the videos on Fine Line. Absurd, bold, creative. But although it did not have a tour, the fans connected most to this album because it was like a lifesaver on the Titanic. And the Titanic was the quarantine. The album somehow was perfect soundtrack for the first half of 2020, and whoever had Fine Line through those months has come to adore it. Wink. Being unable to go to concerts they already bought tickets for, and I got scammed, they didn't, and not knowing if they ever will, made their yearning so much stronger, and the album was the only ailment. God, that was cheesy, just cut. I'm turning into rap god here. To summarize before I tell you about the Love on Tour scam, Fine Line was a masterpiece that truly feels more true to Harry's creative genius, whilst Harry's House feels more like a polished product of a team working behind Harry, making sure Harry becomes an icon. Whilst Harry feels more distracted, be it with movies, with personal life, or Twitter scandals containing both. So the venue thing. I bought tickets for Budapest in 2019, and I only bought them because I got front row tickets. I was in Nirvana. But here comes 2022, and Love on Tour happens, I get there, and where the stage should be, it was the sound deck, and that meant we were eons away from the stage. Not really, but I'm being dramatic. And I thought maybe the translation of venue map when buying tickets maybe was wrongly translated, since only my family name is Hungarian, I myself am not. But then I saw kids crying around me, and I befriended some amazing gals around who were my age, and they told me too they thought this was supposed to be the stage. The conversation was really funny because we thought we were to blame for the bamboozlement, but we also didn't want to come off as crazy. Hi. Hi. I want to ask something. You're trying to say that that you also thought that this was supposed to be the stage and that you also had front row tickets? Yeah. But you're afraid I might think you're delusional. Yeah, totally. Right? Oh my god, same. Oh my god, me too. Yeah. Yeah. What they said. True story. So we did what any adult would do in a case of being scammed by a venue and not a third-party seller whilst at a Harry Styles concert. We went to the bar, and I got the equivalent of a bottle and a half of wine, which I very much enjoyed throughout the night. I almost got lost trying to find my dad's car out of venue because the Google thingy was just spinning, and I was going in all the wrong directions around the venue. I remember I got kebab afterwards, and somehow I lost my favorite hoodie. R.I.P. champ, I'm sure someone is loving you right in Budapest as we speak. But funny enough, no one complained about it online. I never got an answer from the venue when I emailed them about it, so I guess that's it. I got smashed on Love on Tour, I got scammed, and sadly I wasn't into the whole Harry Styles idol icon kink, so it was a bit underwhelming. There I said it. It felt very scripted, and not as a 1975 at their very best serving performance art scripted. More like he's the love child of Freddie Mercury, Peter Gabriel, and Mick Jagger. We need to make him quirky and lovable and relatable, but we also have to take care of what he's saying so he doesn't get cancelled because all eyes are on him now that he's an icon. Anyways, I made these 3 posters which you can download high quality on my Buy Me a Coffee if you're a member, or buy them from my shop. Find me on socials. Maybe tell me if you agree or not with what I said, and don't fight, you rascals. I know what the fandom is, so I will be watching you. Until next time, babes. I'm afraid to admit this, but this outfit is giving Maddie Healy. I am the frog.